Another birther controversy could be brewing for 2016, but this time it's a Republican, not a Democrat. At the heart of it, today a deep dive into whether Texas Senator Ted Cruz is eligible to be president. It's not just an academic question. Cruz was in South Carolina over the weekend sounding a lot like a presidential candidate.
There is almost no limit to what this president and this administration thinks the federal government can do. We've got to get back to the U.S. Constitution. We've got to get back to limits on federal government powers. We've got to get back to our freedom. That's how we turn the country around.
Potential problem for Senator Cruz. He said he was not born in the United States. He was born in Canada. And the Constitution says, quote, no person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to the office of the presidency. Question is, what exactly did the Founding Fathers mean by the phrase natural born? Does it mean citizenship is based on your birthplace or your parentage? Ted Cruz's mother was born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware. His father came to the U.S. from Cuba on a student visa in 1957, but didn't become a U.S. citizen until 2005. The two met in Texas before traveling to Canada, where Cruz himself was born. Cruz claims his citizenship was passed to him from his mother, and immigration law seems to back him up on that. A law in 1952 awards citizenship to children as long as one parent is a citizen. Nevertheless, questions are being asked, just as they were about President Obama, even though he was born in the United States. But of course, he wasn't even the first to face questions about his eligibility. Barry Goldwater, the Republican presidential nominee in 1964, was born in Arizona in 1909, 3 years before it had become a state. George Romney faced questions when he sought the GOP nomination in 1968 because he was born to American citizens and parents in Mexico. John McCain's citizenship came under some scrutiny because he was born in the Panama Canal Zone in 1936, years before Congress passed a statute covering children born to Americans working in that region. At the end of the day, the legal evidence seems to side with Cruz, but there is a gray area, and that may be all his opponents need. Joining me now is Peter Spiro. He's a law professor at Temple University and an expert in citizenship law. Professor Spiro, thank you for joining me this morning.
Glad to be with you, Chuck.
So essentially, this all comes down to defining the phrase natural born. Is that right?
Absolutely. And I think it's pretty clear.
Go ahead.
So I think it's pretty clear that natural born is defined in such a way as to include everybody that has citizenship and who got it other than through naturalization. So the fact that Ted Cruz had citizenship at birth, and he clearly did under the statute that applied at the time, it's pretty clear that he qualifies as natural born.